look at. Let's see if I even have. Um, so I'm gonna show you. Let's see. Where I don't think. Uh, I have to go. Sorry, we're gonna have to make a little side trip here. Where are we at? Gmail. I don't know where I saved it, so I have to pull it back from the beginning. Um, here. I got a letter from Senator Drew the other day, and I did appreciate his letter. This one right here. So before we dig deep into that, this is the first page of it. We're just gonna go ahead and read it. Um, Aloha Senate 3 Ohana. I hope this message finds you well. As we begin the 2025 legislative session, our work has shaped by the transition to a new federal administration and uncertainty around changes to federal funding and many in the state of Hawaii rely on. As such, the Hawaii State Senate focused on protecting essential services, strengthening our budget reserves, and preparing our state to adapt. When we adjourned on May 2nd, we closed a session that built on last year's progress while advancing new priorities. We supported wildlife recovery and housing relief, passed Hawaii's first green fee, defined climate resilience, worked to improve conditions at public schools, stabilize rising insurance costs, and improve public safety standards, and invested in workforce development. In this newsletter, you'll find highlights from this year's session, key legislation updates, and funding secured for Kona, Ka'u, and Volcano, along with progress on District 3 projects to strengthen education, healthcare, and economic opportunity. As always, please feel free to contact my office with any questions or to talk story about how these efforts may impact our community. It remains an honor to serve as a voice of the state capitol. Mahalo nui loa for your continued support as we work together to build a stronger, more resilient Hawaii for generations to come. Makaha ahai aha. Okay, so it's kind of revealing in that sense right there, but we're gonna look at this. We're just gonna analyze, and I think he's doing a good job. And I know that the cards are really stacked up against our legislatures here at the state of Hawaii. Um, so I'm just gonna apologize in advance for being critical. Um, but we're gonna learn a lot. So this is the second page here. I just want to like point something out that stands right out at the top, right? Because where the investments, the funding is going points to, you know, I think, in my opinion, who controls what in Hawaii, where the attention is at. Well, who gets the priorities, right? And of course, right here, the funds secured for Kona, Ka'u, and Volcano. First thing that comes out of mind is Hawaii Health Systems Corporation. Boom. Hawaii Health Systems Corporation, right? Hawaii Healthcare for All receives 13 million. No, I'm sorry. What is that? 13 billion, $248,000 for improvements to the Kona Community Hospital to fund the reconfiguration and renovation of the emergency room. What? 13.2 billion for for renovating the emergency room at the what the fuck? Right? And then not only that, but then we get a second one. White Health Systems Corporation, again, receives 50 million to fund the construction of a new ambulatory care center in Kau. I don't even know what ambulatory care center is. Is that like a ambulance, a emergency center or something? Which is just expanding outpatient services and improving healthcare access for residents in Volcano and other areas of District 3. I guess they're trying to provide something closer, maybe would be the target, so that they're gonna give $50 million to expand outpatient services to improve the needs for the Volcano residents, I suppose? Is that what they're doing? 'Cause I think, Volcano is kind of in the middle of 2 places. They have the, healthcare facility in Pahoa, that kinda serves them, and then that's one right direction they can go, and then they also have Kaiau that has, uh, sort of a clinic out there, sort of, I guess, I think, but everyone goes to Hilo, right? And it's just, you know, I don't know, like, is that really where the money should be going? And why do they get it? And then, it's just amazing, right? So right out the gate, and I've been suspicious of Hawaii Health Systems Corporation for a very long time. They have been super sus. In fact, my first experience out here was through the horrendous treatment that happened to my ex when her hand was inflamed through sadistic behavior and uh, not granting us our patient rights to reject treatment. Everything. Like, they called the security guard on me when I was just trying to get my ex to go to the Queen's Hospital. They treated her like she was just a piece of meat, like they were sadists, laughing their ass off, giving her the worst treatment, worst care, and it was just, the way they did it, man, like, they just have some fucking balls. I'll tell you that right now. Like, I can't like, they really got some, like, arrogant balls to have pulled a stunt like that in front of me. Like, they did it, oh my god, like, we really have to, I don't know if we can go over that right now, but that was just the worst experience, man, like, they were doing some, like, shady ass stuff. I remember I went there, the first thing they did is, of course, they drugged her up. They gave her fentanyl, right, and then they gave her morphine, like, 2 shots or whatever. They just treated her like crap. Like, I don't know if it's because, like, we were, like, had, like, addiction or whatnot, or she was, I don't know. But what was weird was that every time I would walk out to go smoke a cigarette while I'm waiting, because she's passed out on the bed, um, I would come back and then she would tell me that, yeah, the nurse just came in and talked to her. I didn't think about it at first, the first time it happened. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool, whatever," but that's kinda weird. Like, usually they kinda wait until, like, partner, or their representative is there in the room, right? So they can, explain to both of them so that way they're both aware, because she's obviously not in a state of mind competent state of mind to be making any decisions and stuff. That's usually what's typical. I let it go. But then, of course, I went to go smoke another cigarette later on because 'cause we're just waiting in this, emergency room for, like, long ass time, and I come back from smoking a cigarette, and the same thing happened. He's like, "Oh, yeah, they just came in and talked to me." I'm like, "What? No way." That's where I got suspicious, right? So the first thing I did was I took her phone under the, under her blanket, and I put it on record, right? I waited a little bit, put it on record, took my phone and got that thing ready, and I had that thing on record. And then I left again to go smoke a cigarette. Um, but when I went to go smoke the cigarette, I lit it up, and instead of smoking it, put it right back in my pack, and I went right back inside. And oh my god, like, literally, like, probably, like, verbatim, maybe, like, 15 seconds after I got back into that room, they rolled in the cart, and they were gonna do on-the-spot surgery right there at the gate, right? They're like, "Okay, we're gonna try to save some time, and we're gonna just do, like, emergency surgery, and we're just gonna drain that thing right now. Let's try to save you some time. So, you don't have to get a room in the back and all this," it was just like "What the fuck?" Like, yeah, when are we gonna, like, talk about this? Like, right? And, like, you're making having her make all these decisions, while she's, like, sedated and, like, can't even, like, think straight and stuff, like, I didn't know anything, right? 'Cause she could barely even tell me, she can barely remember. right? And it's like, and I would've missed that. I would've been smoking my cigarette, and I'm not talking about you. Um, sorry, but no, this is Libby. Um, yeah, so, that happened, and then, so they rolled in the cart, and they were gonna do on-the-spot surgery, and man, it was like, when they came in, they're, like, laughing, giggling, but it wasn't like the laughing and giggling that you typically get, like people are just kinda playing around, teasing and stuff. This was like, man, I felt the evil in their voices, the way they talked to each other, the way they were looking at each other. It was just like, it was sadistic as hell. So I'm just like, kinda like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And I got I walked in with my camera recording, her camera was recording, and then there was just like, man, like, just the whole thing was just super sketch, right? And, I remember the treatment she got, like, it was like, they just like her hand was super inflamed. She had eczema and, all over her hands. Like, they got super bad conveniently, like, when we got out here, ironically. Maybe it has something to do with the moisture. I suspect that it's like they're doing something to make her have eczema and make her life miserable and make an excuse to, um, do the mind control operations, like, they had some chip in her or they were doing some experiment with her. Like, man, like, I'm telling you, like, I spoke to, like, 4 different entities when I was with her, especially after this. I swear I spoke to, like, 4 different entities. It was a different tone, different personality, because I was like, I was controlling the situation, right? Like, I was like, baiting them. Yeah, I was like, "I know you're not Libby," right? Like, I'll just, like, be, like, having a conversation. As soon as I get a vibe that it was like, I don't think, because there's like, she would get so eager, like, for information. She doesn't ask questions. Like, she doesn't wanna know shit. But, like, there's just a peculiar way that she would just, like, be asking questions where I'm just like, "Who the fuck is, like, am I talking to right now?" And it's like, "Dude, you're not Libby." It's like, you know, "You're not," and then as soon as I do that, they'll be like, they get shocked. Like, you get the reaction. It's like, man, it's so easy to fucking, like, get them at, like, to expose them because they're just not used to people being on it or something. But it was just bad, right? So anyways, back to the hospital. Um, they, like, the way they, like, injected her hand, like, they just, like, stabbed the fucking hand with the syringe and just squeezed as much as they could into, like, the already inflamed hand with the syringe, and the syringe was just, like, I mean, I'm not used to, like, medical, like, I'm used to, like, dental, right? And, I had dental experience as a dental assistant, and, I know the anesthetic that we had back then. We use, like, small carpules of, like, lidocaine, Septocaine, Citinest, for, like, kids and, that kinda stuff, right? And then you'd, like, put it in your gums, right? But this one was, like, they had, like, the very large like, CC kind of, anesthetic that I was just sort of confused with, because I know, like, when you're given anesthetic, like, you're adding pressure. It's just like any shot that you get, like, you're adding pressure. The infection when infections hurt so bad is mainly because of pressure. You just got so much inflamed and then, like, this pus growing that's creating, like, a pimple where the infection site is, and that's actually what is causing the pain. It's not the infection in and of itself that's, like, infecting the skin that's causing it's just the pressure. So, like, when they, like, just stabbed the hell out of her hand, like, without care and compassion, like, the, the oaths that the hospitals, the doctors are supposed to take, like, not giving, like, pain to the patient. I know it was a difficult situation because it's already, like, hyper inflamed and stuff, but it was just, like, the way they did it, just, like, stabbed it, like, 4 fucking times, and she's just screaming, like, her ass off. They didn't wait. Usually we wait, like, in a dental practice, like, wait, like, 5, 10 minutes to see if it, like, if the anesthetic was working and stuff, make sure that they're numb. Do we need to put more? This they didn't do any of that. They were just like, "Okay, we're gonna go right at it." Right after they put that stuff in. And they got the scalpel out, and they just, like, fucking, like just, like, stabbed the fucking thing. Like, it was like a child taking a knife and just, like, stabbed it, like, 3, 4 places, and then they just, like, squeezed the fuck out of the hand. Just like, just like, holy fucking shit. Like, I was, like, shocked. I was just like, "What the fuck are these guys doing?" Like, I got so fucking mad, I almost went black. Like, I almost went fucking black. And they just, like, squeezed the hell out of the hand, and the worst fucking thing is, like, what I noticed was these people didn't even fucking clean the site. Like, after, like, this thing is hyperinfla it looked like, a Mickey Mouse balloon hand, right? Was what her hand looked like. Um, but it was just, like a Mickey Mouse balloon hand, and then they stabbed it, like, a couple times, and then just squeezed the shit out of it, and then, like, she's, like, screaming her fucking ass off, and then they're just like, you know, as soon as they're done, he's like, "Oh, well, that's one way to do it," like, making, like, sly comments like that, and the other lady was just, like, laughing, like, just looking at the whole thing, just, like, enjoying the pain that they're giving to her, and, but and then so they, like, after they squeezed it, they just wrapped the thing in, like, gauze, right? And saying like, "Okay, now you gotta stay overnight," and stuff, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, what are you talking about?" One thing I know about, like, any site of, like, an infection is that you have to, like, uh, sanitize that site. Like, you have to you have to make sure you clean that hand thoroughly to get all the infection site because you're just gonna transfer the infection to every other opening, and she already has eczema, like, she has all these openings on her skin and stuff. And what ended up happening, she I couldn't convince her to change the hospital. She thought I was kinda just tripping. She just didn't it's like it's like a normal fucking day, right? And she ended up getting a staph infection on the other hand, right? 'Cause she's, like, still itching, right? So now she got this hand that's, like, got this infection all over her hand that's barely wrapped, right? And then she's gonna be itching and doing all this stuff, and then sure enough, like, they hospitalized her or even longer because now they have to get the staph under control, and that's because they didn't fucking properly sanitize the hand after the extraction of the pus, of the infection, right? And then, like, dude, and then, like, so many times, even after that, uh, like, the medications, she's, like, allergic to well, she was, like, allergic to aspirin or something, and, like, every time food would come up, they were, like, giving her aspirin, like, "Oh, we got some," like, they were trying to poison her. Like, it was just like, "Holy shit, like, you guys don't, like, confirm this fucking information, like, allergies and stuff?" Like, they kept trying to give her aspirin, like, she told them like, 5 times that she was allergic to aspirin. Right? Like, it was just, like, incompetence out the fucking door. And, like, finally, it wasn't until after I started talking to my mom that, like, I really put the situation in perspective for her, that she was like, "Yeah, if that was fucking me, I would go back to that fucking hospital because I had left. I gotta take care of things, I was, like, doing laundry and stuff. We're homeless, right? And I just can't sit there all day long. I didn't wanna leave, but, like, I was, debating what to do. Finally, she was the one who told me, she's like, "Go fucking back there and get her ass out of there." Right? So I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's what I'm gonna do." So I tried to go back there and get her released, and they wouldn't release her. They were giving me so much resistance, like, it shouldn't even like, there's, like they can give your concerns, whatever, like, "Oh, we don't recommend that you do that," but it's like your patient rights is you can reject treatment. I don't give a fuck who the fuck you are. You can't tell me no. But they told me no. They're fighting me. Then they called the security guard on me when I was, like, trying to get them to say, "No, we're gonna fucking leave." Like, they're telling us no. Um, and then finally, like, they started talking to my mom. And then, like, 'cause I started getting mad. Like, I was, like, really trying to hold it in, like, "These fucking guys that got me fucked up, like, for real. Like, who the fuck do these people think they are?" Right? And then, like, the nurse was, like, even, all, like, in cahoots with it too. Then she's like I was like, my mom's a nurse, and I told her, and he's like, "Well, let me talk to your mom." So then she started talking to my mom, and then she was like, I'm over here trying to listen to the conversation because I knew she was gonna try to manipulate it, right? She's like, "Oh, well, this, that." She's throwing all this fucking, like, medical nonsense, and it's like, no, it got to the point where, like, she got nervous that I was trying to, like, listen to the conversation because I had it on speakerphone, and she made it a point to turn it off speakerphone. Right? And, then she got me to, "No, you know what? I feel like, safe for my life." Like, she's saying I was like, some excuse that she felt threatened, and had me leave the emergency room so she can talk to my mom. And I got so fucking pissed off. 2 security guards were right there, were looking at me, waiting, I was like, "You just gotta wait right here." And then, next thing you know, man, I was so pissed off. Came back, my mom was like, "Okay, Tyler, well, she's gonna stay overnight." And I was like, "Oh my god." I was so fucking livid. Like, she fucking got caught. Right? Like, they just made the like, she just worked her magic, and then, yeah, and then so I was like, "Oh," so I fucking just pretty much sucked it up and I had to leave. Right? Took the backpack, and then, they said, like, "Come back tomorrow." Right? Um, came back tomorrow. Uh, there's, like, a lot because I'm like, dude, I'm just like, like, every red flag is going through my book. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, I was highly suspicious. Oh, yeah, just before this, when I was like, the reason like, when they were talking to Liv when I was smoking the cigarette. Um, I was doing research on the White House situation, and I was looking at the webpage, and I was looking at their legal, like, disclosures and all their legal documents, right? And, yeah, I found, like I remember specifically finding disclosures or, like, these, bylaws that were talking about, like, human experimentation, like, saying, like, they had the right to, like, like, with this bill, they were able to, experiment on human patients, without their consent. They don't even have to be knowing, like, this is the the notice that we're gonna be doing, like, human experimentation, like, something along those lines, right? And I was like, "What the fuck?" I couldn't believe it, like, these guys were, like, so cocky. Like, I had like, and I was just like, "I fucking knew it," you know? Tried to save it and, like, man, like, it was like, I had everything saved, and I was like I went back trying to look at it, like, a month later 'cause I made so much noise when I was waiting for her the next morning, like, 'cause I had everything recorded. That was, like, the best part, and I put that shit on speakerphone, in the car, car stereo, and I had that shit maxed up volume, and I was waiting there, like, 5 o'clock in the morning, like, I think it was, visitation. It was during COVID too, and I think visitation was, like, 7. Right? Like, they opened at, like, 7, and I was there, like, 6 o'clock just fucking waiting. Just like, dude, they're so fucking pissed off. Like, who the fuck do these fucking people think they are? Like, and then, oh, I can't even, like it's so much. Like, there's so much that happened. And I'm not trying to, no, we have to continue talking about it. We have to talk. So, I actually, like, went home, and I was, like, crying, right? Because I just didn't know what to like, I felt like I was betraying her by letting her stay there. Right. Like, I felt like they were doing, like, human experimentation, like, I got, like, intuitive, like, insight that I felt like, like, was COVID like, the whole point of COVID actually to, like, maybe in the Hawaiian Islands was actually to, uh, isolate patients in the hospital, right? Because, like, it wasn't until COVID that, like, there was, like, heavy restrictions on visitation, right? And there was, like, and I was doing the math, and I'm like, "Yeah, there's, like, 14 hours of time that is, like, unaccounted for inside that hospital." And you have all these patients that are just being dropped off, elders, everyone that's being sick, and it's like they don't allow too much like, it's like 1 person per visit, like, they don't allow, like, big families or anything, like, it was, like, super restricted, it was, like, super isolated, and it was just I just thought that it created, like, the perfect, perfect platform, like, if you wanted to do, like, human experimentation on a mass scale, perfect time to do that was COVID, right? Because you could just do whatever that you want to the patient, just give them fucking morphine, more, uh more fentanyl, and then, like, with fentanyl, like, dude, you get complacent, like, you just agree with whatever they want. Like, you do, and I tried it, 'cause I experimented when I went up there. I was like, let me just experiment with this." Like, she's all knocked out, I came back, and then, she had to order some food. So, like, I'm like, "Hey, what do you want?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, 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 yeah." And I was like, "Okay, do you want, like, the chicken and peas?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah, that's fine." I was like, "Okay, do you want this one?" She's like, "Yeah, that's fine." And I was like, "Okay, do you want some pancakes with chocolate ice cream on top and, mayo?" Like, doing the ridiculous stuff just to see if she was, like, cognitive. She's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." I was like, "Okay, cool. Do you want, I don't know, corn mixed with your pasta and, with some root beer on top?" And then I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." And then I did it one more time, and then she, like, finally she was like, "Wait, what the fuck? No." Like, she got mad, like, it was, like, irritated mad, because it finally registered to her, like, what, she was agreeing to. She was like, "Stop fucking around," kinda thing. And I was like, "Ah, see? Point exactly." So, like, anytime that's how they get their consent. Like, they could just come in and tell you anything you want, anything you wanted to hear that sounded good, and then it's like, you're consenting to it. Right? Like, what the fuck? And then there's, like, so much I even tried to look up the laws on, like, what informed consent was, like, what, like, determining factors, the governing rules were for, like, how to determine if someone was competent enough to be making decisions for the life to where they needed to be represented by someone. And holy shit, like, it was like, man, the laws were so watered down to where basically, like, they can just, out of their own discretion, they can determine if you're competent or not. And it's, like, so difficult to, like, prove in case, like, this, like, it's not even, like, it's just, like, a losing fucking battle. So I'm just, like, I'm just, like, all these, like, things are, like, piecing together, and I'm just, like and I'm the only guy, like, on the whole island forever that would ever do, like, looking on their like, they would actually, like, have the audacity to actually look at their homepage and just read what the materials had, 'cause it just showed, like, how much, like, like, that the way they treated her, I felt like the way that they could just, like, confidently just act in that behavior, because 'cause I'm from the mainland, so I know what kinda standard of treatment is expected for, like, a hospital. So, like, when that happened, I'm just like, "How many times do you have to, like, do something like this to have developed the arrogance to where you can just confidently walk into the ER, regardless of who what patient?" Like, I mean, usually, like, if you're gonna do something like you know that you're doing something wrong, and they knew they were doing something wrong, 'cause I got followed after this. Right? It was like I got, like, 3, like, rental cars that were, like, following me home, and, of course, I'm already used to being followed by these guys because they had, like, advanced, auto-driving vehicles, in their Jeeps following me every time I talked about the Hawaiian Kingdom movement. Like, it was weird. Like, I'm telling you, it would be in the middle of fucking nowhere, all of a sudden, you just see, like, 20 fucking cars bombing through just because I talked about a subject, and then, like, I thought they were following us, like, it was, like, it was total, like, environment control. Like, that's how they controlled, like, where people were, like, if they wanted to, like, if you were, like, a homeless, right, and you're, like, in an area that they don't want you to be around, they would just, like, press a button or something and get, like, 10 cars that had mannequins inside them with auto driving capabilities, and they would just, like, have vehicles just park around you, right? Because like, because people like us, we like, isolation, right? We don't wanna be around where there's, like, a lot of people and stuff. At least that's how I felt. Yeah, I don't wanna, I wanna do my drugs and be isolated. I don't want people to see me doing it, right? So, like, we'd, like, pick places where it was like there's no one around. And, like, every time we would go to places, like, all of a sudden you got, like, 5 cars pulling up, just, like, sitting there, never getting out of their car, just, like, super weird. I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, "Let's go," right? Like, "We gotta go." Like, "This seems sketch as hell." There's this weird behavior, and then, like, kinda found out, like, after a while, like, I noticed, like, the front windows were, like, super tinted too. Like, it's like, you can't tint the front fucking windows, but it was like every window was tinted, and it just, it started to make sense that they just had mannequins um, inside the vehicles, like a front and back, like, standing mannequins, and it was auto-driving cars before, like, the mainstream media had, like, a sufficient auto-driving capabilities, like, that's still, like, like, we still don't even have that today, really, like, I don't see them talking about the subject that much anymore, and I think, like, Tesla was, like, really trying to push for, like, auto-driving capabilities, and then, like, for some reason, it kinda just fell off. Like, they don't even talk about it anymore. But, yeah, this was, like, active, like, they had that shit, like, going, like, it was, like, the mainstream was so late, and, the medical side, like, like, the high tech, like, dude, I'm just saying, like, I remember them saying one time that, like, the military industrial complex is, like, 70 years more advanced than the mainstream public is, right? So, like, they have technologies that's, like, 70 years more advanced, because, like, military secrets, trade secrets, whatever the case may be. So, like, I had that in my mind already, like, just knew that there's, like, they just had capabilities that's more than what the mainstream typically knows, and I was just, because I was all conspiracy theorists, like, I walked into Hawaii, with an arsenal of knowledge of, like, potential that they could be employing, and that's why I was such a threat because, like, I was, like, calling shit out that was just, like, ridiculous, like, it was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Who knows so much, without, like, and he just got here, like, he's no one with no resources or anything, like, who is it? Like, it was just, it was a huge major red flag, and that's why, like, everyone around me, like her, for instance, I think the reason why they even targeted her for, like, human experimentation, like, there's just layers of it. There's, like, layers of, like, psychological manipulation going on, I think, um it's just dude, it's, like, such a complicated issue, and I just know the White House Health System Corporation is the number 1 players here that are running these, like, human, uh, unconsented mind control operations, civil, social engineering, practices, like, they're all working together, really, but, like, the main, like, weapon that is the White House Systems Corporation. Like I said, they started following me, home because, like, I told them I had a recording, like, I had everything on recording, and it was, like, a huge threat, like, if that went out, man, holy shit, if I still had that today, dude, this would be a wrap, like, this would be, like, holy shit, like, mainstream fucking viral, like, over fucking night, I promise you. It was just I promise you. Like, that was, like, so bad. Like, and then, like, oh my god, like, yeah, so, so I'm battling so back to the story, I'm, like, at home just like, and see, and this happened, and I tell you, they got powers that this is my mom calling me. Powers that be, it seems like every single time I'm talking about a subject that is, like, right on the money, my mom calls me. Like, that is so fucking suspicious to me, like, it happens so often. Be in the middle of a project that's, like, I know it's, like, groundbreaking, that's gonna, like, make an impact, or, like, talking about a subject that's super controversial, and my mom always calls me every single like, interrupts what I'm doing, and I'm just like and she's been to the hospital a couple times, and I'm like, I've been a threat for a while, like, I would not be surprised if they had the same tech that they're planning on, like, my ex on my mom, like, and that shit bothers me so bad, like, you have no idea how much, like, like, I haven't even, like, honestly, to protect myself, I had to not think about it, like, I'm thinking about it now, and it's like, like, that's just gross, like, I'm not a fucking kid, but, um, it's gotta make sacrifices. For the greater good. Um, so I'm battling with myself at night. I got home and I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like I'm just like, and then like finally, like, I was just like, no, like I can't let her be in there. Like I can't just willfully, knowingly that something is bad is gonna happen, leave her there. So I went back, like it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I went back to that fucking hospital and I was like, no, we're gonna get her the fuck out right now. And like it's like bad. Like that and when that happened, uh I remember when I first approached, the thing, and I was like, "I need to go in there and get my like, we wanna leave now." He was like, "No, you're not allowed in there. You have to do it during discharge, like, this procedure and this and that." Like, it was, like, super, like, regulated. I'm like, "No, bro, like, I'm telling you, like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing in there, but she's not like, we're leaving now." Like, I was, like, so expect right. And then the first thing that happens is, like, a federal marshal pulls up on me. He's like, "I'm a federal marshal here, and, you're gonna have to go." Is what they said. I'm like, "You're a federal marshal?" I looked, right? And I was like, "Let me see your badge." And then he points at his T-shirt badge on his shirt, right? A federal marshal. Right? And then I was like as soon as he did that, oh my god, I laughed him out of the fucking conversation. Holy shit. I'm just like, "Get the fuck out of here, you fake piece of shit." Like, I'm just think about that. Like, a federal mar someone that you're imposing a federal officer at the hospital, of all places, right? And I ask, like, "Let me see your badge," and you're gonna point to the fucking printed shield on your T-shirt? Like, any federal officer, any officer whatsoever is gonna have a shield, fucking, like, in their wallet shield, showing that they are a public officer, with delegated authority to be a public servant, and use, like, a weapon and shit, right? Like, so, like, when he did that so that I just wanna show you the level of, like, deception and control that they were, because they probably worked for everyone else. They're like, "Oh, shit, federal marshal, we're gonna, you know, not fuck around. Like, let's just go leave," right? So, like that didn't work. And, and then this fucking, so, like, with the security guard, like, he was, like, a Hawaiian dude, right? And I'm just like, dude, I'm like, "Bro, like, I'm gonna get her." Like, I was literally we're gonna get down. Like, yeah, to the point, like, I was emptying out my pockets. I'm like, "Bro, if you don't let me go in there, like, dude, we're gonna fucking fade right now, bro. Like, I'm telling you right now, we're gonna fade." And, like, finally, it got to him. He had to call, like, his boss, and he's like, "Dude, this is a little bit different. Like, this guy's ready." And then he appealed to me. He's like, "Okay, I'm just," like, the nurse, like, they panic started to get, like, lib, and, like, so it's like, "You need to talk to your guy, like, he's out in the front," and, like, finally, I talked to her, like, I was able to talk to her. She said she was fine, she said nothing was going on. The security guard was like, "Dude, like, please, like, if you just come back tomorrow, you can pick her up in the morning. Like, if you don't, we're gonna have to trespass you, and you won't be allowed back on the property again." I was like, "Fuck." Like, 'cause I had to think about that, it's like, "Shit, do I fucking" do I just wait? And, I kind of just got reassured that, like, nothing was going on. I don't know if, like, I made enough noise already to where they kinda just put hands off on her for now. I don't know what the fuck they did. But I knew that her Lib was like I don't know what happened, but Lib, but I swear to God, like, she got into her, like, six-year-old behavior, kinda like, she does this thing where she, like, talks in a kid voice kinda thing. It's kinda irritating, where she has, like, this high pitched kinda kid voice, and she has, like, this, just kind of like this being taken care of personality. Like, she was it was like a child, like, it was just kind of I don't know, she had a tendency to do this a lot. I don't know if she is having, like, when she felt like she was genuinely being taken care of, so it kinda like, you know uh, because she had a super fucked up upbringing. This was like, she was a Kahuku kid, right? Kahuku Ranch up in Kau, right? Like, that's a whole fucking nightmare of a story, like, all those kids that happen up there, like, that's a fucking rabbit hole in and of itself that needs to be discussed, and it seems like they targeted all of those Kahuku children, right off the gate, right? Like, they have been, all of them, that's just been they, like dude, I'm just saying, it's so fucking bad in Hawaii. Like, I cannot express to you how much suffering and, like, control. Like, you don't even know. Dude, the Hawaiians don't even fucking know how bad things have gotten for them. Like, I promise you. Like, they haven't even touched the fucking surface on, like, how much they have been controlled, manipulated, and just, like, steered off their land, using, like, legal, like, mumbo jumbo. Like, dude, it's been strategic, and it's nothing new. And it's what they've been doing for years, to the Moors or the so-called black people, like, they did it to them, they pushed them out of the Americas. Like, dude, it's just like, bro, like, evil at its best. But so, anyways, back to the story. Um, so finally, I was just like, "Fuck it," like, okay, I'll come back first. They said I could pick her up first thing in the morning, so I was expecting them to have her, like, ready to get picked up first thing in the morning. So I fucking went back home. I had to get to sleep. I was fucking tired. Um, been up, like, pretty late, like, trying to, like, get control of the situation. I'm, like, doing research, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Just doing everything I can in my limited resources to just get information to figure out what the fuck's going on. And there was just so much available. Um, so I came back the next day. It was like first thing I think I was like, it wasn't like first thing, I think first thing it was like 7:30, uh, 8 maybe. I was a little bit late 'cause I just fucking like I came back home and I was still fucking crying. Just like felt like I just like, lost the fight, just wasted my fucking time. Just felt defeated. Uh, and like I couldn't save her, I couldn't protect her. Um, and uh Yeah, so I came back the next day, and I pulled up, they have the drive-through kinda thing, and I pulled up ready, like, "Okay, where's she at?" Kinda thing, and they're like, "Oh, what's her name?" They didn't even, like they right there, like, act like they remembered me, and she was, like, fucking around with me too, like, the front office, like, she was just, uh yeah, I gave her the name, they're like, "Oh, you know, she's not ready," and I was like, "Okay, well, like, what are you talking about?" Like, "I'm here to pick her up," she's like, "No, well, there's nothing she's not ready for discharge," like, so it was, like, completely news to them. Like, they had, like, this whole other they just said whatever they had to say to get me off the fucking property is what happened that night, seemed like, or they just didn't do what they said they were gonna do. And they were just fucking around, because then I was like, "Okay, well, we need to go get her." Like, they said, like, "We're gonna get released. I need to talk to her now," and then, like, they were being like, "Oh, you can't park your car right there." I was like, "What the fuck?" So I had to, like, go and park the car, come back, and then, like, talk to it was just giving me this rope, and then finally, it got to the point where they called security guards on me. They, like, called 3 security guards walked up. Finally, like, after I gave them my name and everything and, like, who I was here for, and it was like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, they're like, we're trespassing you." Right? You're not gonna be they're telling me that I'm not allowed on property, and I was not allowed to pick her up. And then that's when I was like, "What motherfucker?" Like, "Okay, let me talk to the fucking director of the hospital right now." Like, I had a fucking name. I was like, "Get this person on the phone." He's like, "Oh, you wanna speak to that person?" He's like, "Yeah, get him on the phone. I need to tell him what the fuck's going on here." You know? And then they're like, "Okay, wait right there." Right? Then she gets on the phone, I'm calling them. And it was kinda weird. It took, like, 5 minutes. I don't know what was going on, like, I was 'cause they had a little distance, like, just walk over there. Security guards all right there waiting. It was like a young lady. Um, they don't even know what the fuck's going on. They're like, "What's going on?" Right? It's just probably, like, talk of the town, probably what was going on there. And then, next thing you know, it was weird, like, you just like, I just heard sirens going on. It was like, like, it was like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know where like, why those sirens would even be there. It was just, like, so weird, and it just kept going for, like, 60 seconds, and I just didn't even move. I didn't get phased by it. I think they were trying to scare me out, like, "Oh, shit, he's coming." Like, kinda like and I just waited there. I'm like, "Okay." Then it stopped, and then, she's like, "Okay, Charles, you can come and pick her up now." Like, what's the response? As soon as I asked to go speak to a fucking director, they're like, "No, like, get him the fuck out of here." Like, it was just all resistance just crumbled. I was, like, shocked, and then sh it was actually, before that, I remember, they had said something, and, she had told me something like, "Oh, you're gonna have to do something." I don't know what it was, but I remember walking away and, because people were there waiting, like, they had, heard about what was going on, and there was, like, a crowd of people kinda just, like, there to observe. I remember this Hawaiian guy that was sitting on the desk. As soon as I walked away, he fucking, like, smirked, laughed, like, a joking kind of like, not like, "Wow, what a fucking joke," right? Like, at me, right? Like, insult to me, and I am so thankful whoever that fucking guy that brought up was. Like, I needed to see that, right? Because that is what was like, "Oh, hell no. They're trying to, like, run me like I'm a fucking fool." And that's when I was like, "No." Like, it wasn't, 'cause I'm always nice and, like, I ask, request things. Like, I don't come out guns blazing right out the gate, right? It's a strategic elevation. So as soon as I got that, I was like, "Oh, hell no." Right, and then fucking, I went back there and I was like, "No, we're gonna pick me up right now." It wasn't request, it was orders, right? It was demands, right? And, like, that's when things turn around, like, it's like, I need, like, something about, like, you know, it just infuriates me when, like, people make fun of me, like, I don't know, I just always hated it as a kid or something, so, like, I that's what, like, keeps me at my A game, so I don't wanna give anyone the fucking ammunition to fucking talk shit about me. Like, I really don't. Like, it really bothers me that I even use fucking drugs, 'cause I know that's just, like, the biggest, easiest piece of ammunition that anyone could use to just discredit me. And it's just, like, fucking pisses me the fuck off, and I'm just getting the job done, right? That's all I've been doing. That's all I do when I'm on it, and I'm like a menace to society because I'm getting more shit done than any one of you motherfuckers. And you have the audacity to look at me like I'm a fucking problem? Like, I ain't fucking doing shit. Like, I ain't trying to help the community. Like, I ain't trying to fuck fix problems. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Looking at me like anything. Behavioral health fucking services. Are you fucking kidding me? Shut the fuck up. Sorry for my language, but I'm starting to get, anyways, after that, uh, at 10 minutes, they fucking walked up there. There was no resistance. There wasn't a lady fighting me. It was like, "Here's the paperwork, that you're just declining service." It was like I was in and out 10 minutes, came out like I felt like a fucking beast. Like, just like walking out. She's in the wheelchair getting out, and like people were like, "Wow!" Like they actually got up. It was like, just like that, and, like, I showed them, like, what they needed to do, like, how they could be empowered, because like, I think people have tried to do that before maybe in the past, but they were just always intimidated, and it didn't work. Like, it's happened several times. It's happened, like, when I went, they were, like, lying to me about being able to upgrade my phone when I didn't have a phone because that was something they wanted to, like, limit, all of my resources, and being homeless, you have, like, very limited and few resources, and they can easily manipulate and control you. So, like, the homeless community is actively being manipulated and controlled, like, blacklisted, low resources, like, it's like, they think being homeless is, like, easy out here. It's not fucking easy, like, they will not like, you can't get jobs. Like, I remember, like, you have no idea how many times that I had employers say that they were gonna hire me and then never call me back. Like, they got a background, like, in communication, like, something called blacklisting is real, and they just run your name, and if you're on that list, like, they don't call you again, they don't bother you, they don't even know who the hell you are. They're like, "Nope." It's like, "We're good." You know? It's like all the homeless. Anyone that does drugs, whatever, that isn't in their system, blacklist. Like, it's just, um and then, of course, like, we were going to the Queen's Hospital, and I swear to God, like, there's, like for the first time ever, there was a goat in the middle of the fucking road, and I was just mobbing it, just, like, getting the fuck out of there, and, a goat was right there. I swear to God, like, they were like, they put that goat there to try to kill us, and I just, I knew how to drive, and I swerved out of that shit, like, the last fucking minute, like, and they tell you not to, like, swerve out of the way kinda thing, 'cause I'm going, like, fucking 90, like, down this fucking highway, like, I'm just like, adrenaline's fucking going through my brains. Just get the fuck out of there. Let's get her to this other hospital because I thought they were different. They weren't. Um, they were definitely just cautious because they heard what went down. Like they, the hospital, the Gila Hospital community, like told Queens Hospital that I was coming pretty much as well. Um, but yeah, I swerved out of that goat thing, and like we should have like died that day. Like, I barely missed it, you know? Like, goat should have been dead, we probably should have been tumbled over. Like I said, they tried to get rid of us. Promise you that. I promise you that. But that's yeah, that's my story for them. So, I mean, I really don't even, like man, I'm, like, so, like, distraught now, like, being, like, revived of, like, that experience. But, the White House system's fucking corporation. Like, I was gonna do this whole thing, um going on their webpage and trying to show you, like, you could just go right here, you go to legal, HHSC policies and procedures, and this is one of the policies and procedures they had. I thought this was the one, that I was looking for here. Um, it's not. I think they revised it. It wasn't the I'm telling you right now, it wasn't the one, that I right here. HIPAA research purpose, use, and disclosure. I thought that was the one. They say it's from 13, but they control the website. Like, none of these dates can be accurate. They could make any of these dates anything they want, and they could place the document whatever they want. But I like, they were hacking they could monitor the phone calls. But I wasn't shy about it, and I told them, it's like, dude, I got this fucking information. Like, y'all fucking done. And my phone was getting hacked, like, dude, it was, like, nothing with even to this day, like, I think they even the feds even, like, realize now, like, they like, my app like, the app store on the phone would just, like I remember going, like, I was like, "Hey, the app store, button on the iPhone, like, isn't there." Like, it was just erased. And it's like, I don't you have to, like, jailbreak the phone to remove that app store function to, like, update your apps and to download new apps, right? And, I don't think you understand, like, how limited 'cause a tactic I would use when they would hack my apps is I would delete the app and re-download it, right? 'Cause they would put a new code in, on my phone of the downloaded app. I'll just delete it and re-download it. And it wasn't until after I started doing that to bypass it that, like, all of a sudden now the app store would be removed from my phone. I know they found out about it because, like, I know the feds were watching my phone, and monitoring the activities on there. And I remember one day it was just, like, randomly it just came back on. I was like, "Thank you." That's exactly why I put all of my, share everything with Google, with Apple, with fucking, I put all the diagnostic information, everything. Like, I'm just, like, praying to God that someone is just gonna, like, there's a lot of weird activity going on in this guy's phone. And, like, I try to report everything, like, I try to plant so many fucking seeds with everything that I do, and just try to like, I'm throwing, like, everything I got at the wall and just praying to fucking God shit sticks. And it does stick, and that's where we're at right now. And that's why I'm doing this, because I'm not gonna be here that long. I got 2 weeks, so I'm trying to, like, really, like, drop the fucking hammer and just, like, expose these fucking people, before I dip out, because I feel like a failure still. I feel like I still haven't succeeded in getting the Hawaiian Kingdom back, which is what I set out here to do. Um, so, like, that kinda breaks my heart, and, like, I feel like I'm abandoning you guys. So, um, sorry. I'm sorry. That's all I got.